to share. Today's materials that we will use was designed by Alexis Houston. He's a UK-based mentoring expert who has worked extensively with researchers, academics, and clinicians. And Amari has adapted this material for the purpose of this workshop. So like I mentioned, we are going to share the materials with you after the session today. You all agree with me that sometimes when you are traveling an unknown path, you need someone who knows the terrain to guide you, to ease some of the stresses that you probably may encounter navigating that particular path. And I personally have experienced mentoring, and it really helped me as a mentor and as a mentee. I've really benefited from this. I have had mentors from my field and some who are not from my field, but in academia, right? I have benefited from those in my field in that it's helped me grow in the mental health field. Particularly, I focus a lot of my research on trauma and then military psychology. And I'm growing. I will not say I've arrived, but I'm growing in the field. However, I realized that in academia, I'm an academic now, more academic than practitioner. And I realized that in academia, there were women who I could identify with in terms of the challenges that I face, trying to thrive in academia. And these women are excelling, they are thriving. And so will I say I have benefited from them, looking up to them as mentors? Yes, I've benefited immensely from them because my experience is that in my institution, when I entered, I didn't have anybody really holding my hands, guiding me as a mentor, but some people who were outside of the field, who were in academia, and who were thriving, held my hands. And I would not say that I've not benefited. I've really benefited immensely from that guidance. And I believe that all of us sometimes need that level of guidance to be able to make it. And that is why we are learning mentoring today. Now, when we are planning our careers, we plan it seamlessly. Our plans are usually devoid of obstacles, right? Who amongst us here have had their career pathway like this so far? Anybody to raise a hand? Please raise your hand if you have. You have been able to navigate seamlessly like this as you have planned. Any hand up? There's no hand up. Should I take it that we have all not encountered, or we have all not had a career pathways like this so far? Definitely the reality is here. There's a reality. There's a reality. Even though we have planned the career so seamlessly, the reality is that there are obstacles along the way. It is full of obstacles. One joke that we have here in our department, we usually say, have you gotten to the point where you said, I've given up, I'm not doing it again? Yes, sometimes we all do get to that point because it's full of obstacles, and sometimes you don't really know how to navigate these obstacles. So we all need somebody to guide us through such path, somebody to encourage us to be able to get to a desired destination. I remember that, okay, so before we go, before I mention what I remember, let me ask, what does mentoring mean to you? What does mentoring mean to you? I mentioned that today is also full of discussion, and I'm counting on you. Is Angela going to start for us? What does mentoring mean to you? Any hand up?
Hi.
Yes, please, Angela, go ahead.
Okay, so mentoring, ideally it's a relationship, or it's a relationship of one person who is more experienced and the other one who is not experienced. So the one who is more experienced tends to guide the one who is just learning in the process to get to know things and how they can achieve their goals. And also they do provide some input. So it involves monitoring progress, feedback, as well as uh, maybe tracking the agreed objectives with time. So basically, that's how I can explain it.
Thank you. So that's what I picked. The keywords I picked. It says that someone who is more experienced, and then the other one is guiding another one who is less experienced. And the aim is to achieve some desired goals. Thank you so much, Angela. Anybody to add on? Theodora, will you add on? Where is everybody?
I
Oh,
think
Michael.
Angela
Michael, you
covered.
are. Please go ahead.
I think Angela covered it well. But then I also think that like it can sometimes be bidirectional. So as much as when you're getting mentored, you receive, but you can also like yeah, share your experiences, and for your mentor, maybe that will be of some benefit to them depending on the context.
Okay, so experience sharing. Experience sharing. Thank you so much. Any other? Michael, you are welcome. Please, my colleague is here to support me on facilitating this. So once in a while, he may come in to chip in. Michael, you are welcome.
Thank you, Joanna.
Great. So we have mentioned that it's about experience sharing. Now I remember that in our previous discussion on career strategy, there was a question about the difference between mentors, sponsors, and supervisors. Right. So on this note, I would want to talk a little bit about that and then we move on. So like we have said, a mentor usually guides career development, right? So you could engage in a mentor and a mentee could engage in a long-term flexible relationship where the mentor takes or guides the career path of the mentee. Sometimes it goes beyond our academic journey, sometimes through your professional journey, sometimes if you're a researcher, through growing your growth in research and all that. And remember that we mentioned that in mentoring, in career strategy, we mentioned that in mentoring, we could have different mentors for specific areas in our career growth, right? So remember that. And then, so if I would summarize, we say that a mentor may guide a mentee on a path they themselves have traveled. Okay, so that brings out the experience they have. And this experience, once they are sharing this experience with you, they probably have made mistakes they have been able to navigate. And they guide the mentee so the mentee doesn't make the same mistakes. The mentee is able to travel the path more smoothly than the mentor. Then we have a supervisor. The supervisor's relationship is usually a formal, short-term, and targeted one, right? So a supervisor may oversee the success of a research or a project. And once that is done, the relationship may be terminated. Then the sponsor may be an advocate who um, may direct the another person towards growth in terms of finding opportunities for the individual. So if I'm a sponsor of, let's say, Liban, I may have opportunities. I may look out for opportunities for him. Maybe grant opportunities, maybe scholarship opportunities for him, right? So having said that, let's remember that these are distinct roles, okay? We have the mentor, we have the supervisor, we have the sponsor. They are distinct roles. But some may be fortunate to have, for instance, a supervisor playing the role of the mentorship role or sponsorship role or both. Sometimes even after the supervisory role is over. Okay, so some, in reality, some may play those all the roles together, but these are distinct roles that we have to look out for. Let's move to the next slide. I saw Blessing coming. Blessing, you are welcome. So the aims of this session, in this session, we are going to help you understand the developmental mentoring, and its benefits. We're also going to show you what a mentoring session looks like in practice, because we are going to allow ourselves to role play along the line. We'll role play to have that experience before we move along. But sorry, before we move along. So as we move along, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask. Right, good. So what is mentoring? We have mentioned what mentoring is, so I'm just going to summarize it and then we move on. So like we've said, mentoring typically is provided by a more senior colleague who is based in the same profession, right? So we look at the experience. When a mentor is mentoring, he mentors from experience. He directs and guides from experience, right? And the relationship between the mentor and the mentee, is usually long-term and relatively close, right? Now, the mentor's aim is to build the capability of the mentee. Yes, is to build the capability of the mentee to help them discover their own knowledge. So the mentor is not spoon-feeding the mentee, but is directing them to be able to build their own capacity to identify what they themselves can do for themselves, right? So the mentor's experience broadens the mentee's perspective and horizon on whatever they have to do. Having said that, we should also know that mentoring is a two-way learning opportunity, or offers a two-way learning opportunities. It is not only the mentee who is learning from the mentor. Sometimes the mentor also learns from the mentee. Okay, I learn a lot of things from my junior colleagues that I mentor. Sometimes they will say, "Oh, Doc, do you know that there is this new approach of doing this particular thing?" And then I learn. Okay, so it's a two-way, it offers a two-way learning opportunities for both the mentor and then the mentee. We could also have a peer mentorship. It's not all the time that we have a senior colleague guiding a junior colleague. Sometimes peers also could mentor each other. And peer mentoring is similar. I mean, it usually occurs with people who are similar in age and experience, right? But we still would have the mentor having some experience that the mentee doesn't have. Okay, so we still look at the experience and what is being offered to the mentee. Now, this is different from coaching and supervision, right? Which is usually short-term with very specific objectives of specific focus. Like I said, a supervisor is specifically targeted at guiding you through a particular project. And once that is done, everything solves. Whether coaching or mentoring, we realize that it requires some interpersonal skills of listening, empathy, offering empathy to the individual, and then respect. These three things are very important in mentorship. Active listening, or a good listening skills, or interpersonal skills, empathy, offering empathy, and then respect. As we go on, I will explain some of these to you, or we will demonstrate some of these. Great. So we say that mentoring is about getting the best out of people. It is about getting the best out of people, as opposed to stuffing things into people or putting things into people or telling them what they should do. It is not about acquiring knowledge, but it's about you growing in your learning experience. Okay, so the mentor is not there to spoon feed. The mentor is there to guide you grow in your learning experience. And this is where the developmental assumption starts. Now, the answer lies within the individual, right? We believe that the mentor has their own answers lying in them. So when they bring up the issue, the mentor's duty is to guide them identify these answers, guide them come up with options to identify the best answers that could help them grow in the learning experience. Now, you agree with me that we learn best when we take full responsibility of our learning experience, right? So if you are a mentor, you are guiding the person to come up with their own solutions. If you are a mentee, you know that you have a responsibility in your learning journey, right? So you are able to learn best if you take a full responsibility of the growth, because the mentor is there to guide, but whatever achievements is done by the mentee. Okay, so the mentee is the actual achiever, whilst the mentor is there to guide the process. So mentoring is about getting the best out of people. Now, we want to look at benefits of the mentorship process. So we'll first look at the benefits for the mentee. Benefits for the mentee. Now, mentoring provides a safe haven to explore professional development and work-based issues, right? So the mentor provides a sounding board. The mentor provides a sounding board for the mentee to be able to attain their goals. It's been established that mentees typically progress faster in their learning experience than those who do not have mentors, right? So if you are a mentee, and then if you have a mentor, you benefit more from the learning experience than those who don't have the mentors. So that is for the mentee. For the mentor, like we have said, the mentoring experience is not only beneficial to the mentee, but also for the mentor, right? Now, mentoring is a great opportunity to develop skills in developing others. You realize that whilst as a mentor, you are developing other people, you also develop yourself. So it gives you the opportunity to reflect and review your own experiences as a mentor. And then you're able to offer insights into learning that has been gained. Now, when you also work with mentees, you are able to identify that their issues give you an invaluable insight into your own working conditions or your own issues, right? So it serves as a mirror for you to also reflect on your own experiences. Now, mentors often say they gain intellectual challenge and the satisfaction of helping another develop. We will see in a later slide a research backing this particular one. Now, for any organization that encourages mentoring, mentoring supports the retention and attraction of people to the organization, right? So it promotes a culture of caring and sharing, and then also contribute to the overall quality of performance of people in the organization. It also make people, give people the independence of thinking and doing things for themselves. So these are some of the benefits. Now, there is research evidence that mentoring increases research productivity, grant success, and career sustainability. Now, I have some research backings here that I will, so we have Risso and colleagues in 2017 who found that mentored researchers work fewer hours, but they publish more than non-mentored peers. And you agree with me that it suggests that those who are mentored are able to use time efficiently to work than those who don't have any mentoring experience. Now, Dixon and colleagues in 2021 also noted that the emotional support offered by peer mentoring program that they ran for implementation science researchers was invaluable. Okay, so if you look at it typically, you realize that as much as mentoring gives everybody, both parties, some learning experience, the relationship that is gained through the mentorship process is the greatest predictor of effectiveness in our career pathways, right? We realize that mentoring is very beneficial, but unfortunately, if you look at professional development, especially in Africa, you realize that there is little research that looks at the mentoring, the benefits of mentorship in career development. Great. So we look at benefits and challenges. Now there's a word cloud, and this word cloud gives us a nice visual illustration of participant feedback on benefits of mentoring. Now, words appear in approximate proportion to how frequently they were mentioned in free text feedback. So in an experiment, we realized that a total of nearly 600 words were entered into the cloud app. And then you realize some keywords appearing 30 to 40 times. And that is what is projected there. So words like support, the support people get from the mentoring process appeared a lot. Then gaining experience or experience sharing was also very dominant as a beneficial thing in the mentoring process. Now, learning or increased learning is also a key benefit that people feel they got from the mentorship process. And then increased skills. In fact, increased skills was one of the major outcomes of the mentoring process. And so these are some of the benefit people have gotten through the mentorship process. Now, in Amari, there is a peer mentorship program where PhD and postdoc fellows are sometimes merged with each other. Now, because of the ratio in proportion of the numbers of PhD and postdoc, sometimes you have some postdocs being paired with one postdoc paired with a PhD fellow, or a PhD who is in a year ahead paired with another PhD who has just started. Okay, so this is what Amari offers to fellows. And we'll realize that all of us will go through that. So you may have those both sides. You may be a mentee to start with, and then later on, when you progress, you may be given the opportunity to also mentor others. Now, after the program, after some of the people have gone through the mentor-mentee processes, they came up with some benefits and challenges, which we will also look at. I'll also mention quickly. So the top challenges were finding time and managing geographical separation. You agree with me that we are all at separate places, and so we can't have maybe face-to-face mentorship. And so the major problem with the Amari assessment was that there was a challenge managing the geographical separation. And I believe that we are also going to go through that. And we will need to learn from what made our predecessors succeed in their mentorship program. The top benefits for mentees were support and encouragement with personal and professional issues. That is one of the top benefits for mentees. They believe that they gained a lot of support and encouragement when it comes to their personal and professional issues. Now, again, there were top benefits for mentors. And that was facilitating mutual growth and gaining experience as mentors. So they were able to gain a lot of experience mentoring other people. There was also shared benefits that were common to both mentors and mentees, and that was learning from each other's experiences and building problem solving and prioritization skills, right? So I believe that we are all going to have these benefits. And then for the challenge, we count on our predecessors to know how to navigate them very well. Now, these are quotes from Amari Mentoring Scheme. This was based on, these quotes are based on one Halima Okewole's qualitative research on the ACES program. Okay, so one mentee said, I have built a lot of confidence. It has given me someone to reach out to on a personal as well as professional level. Okay, so this corroborates what I said previously. Another mentee also said, I gained a lot, including moral support, advice and encouragement on work-life balance and career development. So these two are from mentees. Now, there was one also from a mentor who says that it was refreshing to think about someone else's journey and how to encourage and facilitate their growth. It's also helped me think about my own journey as well. Okay, so these are some of the realities of the benefits that people have gained from, especially the Amari mentoring scheme, right? So how does mentoring work? How does mentoring work? So this gives us a good visual to start the practical learning regarding how the process of mentoring works. Okay, so exploration begins it all. It's very crucial if mentoring will be done well. So in exploring, we are looking at active listening. This is where active listening plays a lot of role or plays a very vital role here. So if you actively listen and reflect as a mentor with your mentee, both of you gain new understanding. And then the mentee can move, the mentor can move the mentee into committing to put this new understanding into action. So based on the new understanding you get from exploring the issues together, the mentee is guided to plan on the actions that are to be taken in the mentorship program. Any questions so far? So far, you've been very quiet and I'm very uncomfortable. Any questions so far, please? Okay, so we can move on, right? I'm going to ask you to talk very soon. So what qualities do mentors and mentees need? Let's discuss. What qualities do you think mentors and mentees need? Already I've mentioned some along the line, and I will be happy if we can raise our hands and mention some of them, including the ones I've not mentioned. What are some of the qualities that mentors need? What are some of the qualities that mentees may need to make the mentorship process a very smooth one or a very successful one? Somebody's hand up. Theo, please go ahead.
Yes, I think as a mentee, you need to have like a teachable attitude, and then you should also be able to be transparent. So it's not just pretending that everything's okay, but you can really share with your mentor. So those are just two I mentioned.
Thank you so much. So the mentee, if I get you right, must have a teachable attitude and must be transparent. No need to hide anything so that we can be able to proceed very well. Thank you so much. Who else is coming? So we have one for the mentee. Let's see what is here. I have anything. Okay, Adioye said vulnerability trust. On whose part? I guess the mentee. They should all be honest.
The mentors have to be vulnerable. They have to create an atmosphere of trust. And the mentees too should be vulnerable and should be able to trust.
Okay, so atmosphere of trust. Great. Honesty on both parts. Honesty on both parts. Blessing, today I've not heard your voice, so I hope to hear your voice soon. Yes, availability. Thank you. Availability. I believe on both parts, right? Availability. Any other? Liban, I've not heard from you. Elmi, let's hear from you. Hannah, let's hear from you. Olive.
Hi everyone. So
Hi.
I joined just now. Sorry, I missed the
okay.
the conversation.
Okay, then follow us, and I'm sure that you get something to tell us soon. Great.
Thank you.
So I have here a teachable spirit.
Olive here. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead. Pardon me.
So I think what I'd add on, especially on the mentor side, would be having an interest, genuine interest in their mentee. But also, additionally, on the mentee side, they would also have to be self-driven. So they have to be able to initiate discussions, conversations, not necessarily just waiting to be prompted all the time. So I guess that's what I would add on to what the others have said.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Thanks so much for the input. So we say the mentee must have a teachable attitude, must be transparent. There should be an atmosphere of trust to propel the mentoring process. Honesty, availability on both parts, genuine interests. Mentors must have genuine interest in the mentee, and the mentee must be self-driven and initiate conversations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate these contributions very well. So let's go on and see. So what does the mentoring involve? What does mentoring involve? So let's see. So one-on-one, one-to-one conversation. Yes, it's a conversation. It is this conversation that will help us explore the issues that we bring on board. Remember, explore new knowledge and then looking at action planning, right? So one-to-one conversation is key. Confidentiality, even though we didn't mention confidentiality, confidentiality is very key in the process. Appreciation. Appreciation is for the person and their experience on both sides. We appreciate the experiences that the mentee must appreciate the experiences of the mentor. And the mentor must also appreciate the experiences of the mentee. That is when you can validate what they are going through and be able to offer good support for the mentee. Then attention, paying attention to details on both sides is also very important. Ease, space to think. Okay, you don't have to say that because we are in a mentor-mentee relationship, whenever we meet, we must solve all the problems. Sometimes we must give ourselves time to go back, reflect, and then come back on the table to be able to look at the way forward better. Empathy. You must empathize. You must let the person understand that you really appreciate what they are going through. And probably if you have gone through that before, let the person know that, well, this is not new. I've also been there. And these are the things I did to navigate through this. Trust, I think trust was mentioned. Trust is also a very vital thing to do, or vital attribute that we need here. Then listening. Listening. This is very important. It's an important element in mentoring, particularly for the mentors. It is when you listen actively that you'll be able to appreciate what the person is saying, that you'll be able to understand what they are saying, and then you're able to know what to do after you have appreciated whatever the mentee has said or presented. Now, when you actively listen, it makes the whole process much more easier to deal with, right? And it underpins all the others. Now we have two types of listening here: the diagnostic listening and the active listening. Usually we slip into diagnostic listening when we engage our mentees as mentors. There is that big temptation to slip into diagnostic listening whilst you engage your mentee. But we need to make an effort to listen actively in mentoring, right? So with diagnostic listening, whilst the person is talking, telling you what they are going through or telling you about their issues, there is a temptation to analyze what they are saying, and then with the aim of prescribing. Okay, so whilst they are talking, you are analyzing what they are saying. You are probably trying to identify the problems they have, and immediately you are offering solutions to that. But we encourage active listening, because with active listening, you are trying to build a rapport with the mentee to ensure that they feel they are heard, they feel they are understood. Sometimes if you listen actively, the person could tell you that, well, this is the first time that I feel somebody understands me. Okay, so the person appreciate that, well, you have listened and heard what they have said, because you can identify with it. Okay, and once that happens, it solidifies the relationship. And so here in active listening, we are saying that let empathy prevail. Okay, so it involves empathy and sometimes validating what they are saying, right? Okay, so that's what I was saying. Sorry, I didn't project it as I was saying. So listening to facts with diagnostic, you are listening to the facts, and then you select what you think are the problems. Okay, so that means that you are not hearing everything they are saying, and then you respond with some feedback. Okay, so this makes it feel like you are there to solve puzzles with them. Whilst in active listening, you are listening to the person, you are attending actively to the person, and the person feels that, well, you have heard it. You have heard me, you have reflected on what I've said before you are responding to me. Okay, so you explore here, you find out more whilst being open with the conversation. Thank you. So we'll look at the key roles of the mentor and then the mentee, right? So the mentors are a sounding board to the mentee. So we say the mentor is a sounding board. The mentor helps the mentee work through difficult problems whilst weighing up the options. Okay, so you listen actively to the individual. You come up with the problems. Whilst the problems are identified, you come up with options that we can use to resolve the issues. Then the mentor is a challenger. The mentor is the person who can ask difficult questions safely. Okay, so the mentor can challenge what you are saying, ask questions, follow up with other questions to ensure that they are understanding you, they are pushing you beyond limits to think and come up with options that are available without being intimidated, right? And then they also serve as career counselor, where they help the mentee design and action their career plan. And then they also serve as advisors, where they help the mentee build and implement a developmental plan. Okay, so they can, maybe if you come up, maybe come up and tell them that, oh, maybe there are these courses that are available for me as a PhD candidate. They may advise, okay, why not take this over that? Okay, so they serve as an advisory body as well. Then they are also a critical friend to you. They are always present to give a listening ear whilst offering feedback and observation. Being critical here also would mean that, well, when they are offering feedback, it is not feedback that you want to hear alone, but feedback that will help you have a good look at what you are going through and to look at the options that are available. And they do that within the structure of the mentoring relationship, which becomes more effective. Then they also serve as a network of worker or facilitator, where they help the mentee to develop their own resources whilst assessing networks of people and expertise, right? So they guide you, network, and facilitate some networking opportunities as well. The mentees, like some of you also said, the mentees also have a role that they should play. The mentee must respect the time and efforts that both mentor and mentee are investing into the relationship, right? So that if we say that we are going to meet at this time, we must respect the time. And once we meet as well, we need to utilize the time very well. The mentee must also be honest and open in their discussion. So somebody mentioned vulnerability, or sometimes when you want to talk about certain things, you feel that, well, this one will put me in a bad light, but you must be honest about them. You must be open about some of the experiences that you have. It is only when you have done this that the mentor can be able to help you. Then they should also be committed to learning. So I think somebody mentioned that they should have that teachable attitude. So mentees must be committed to learning and growing their experiences. They should come with an attitude of, I want to. So, and somebody mentioned that the person should be self-driven to learn. So it all comes under this. They should also prepare for each session so the time is used wisely. So when you are going for a meeting, you must have a plan. What are we going to discuss? What do I want to achieve within this period, so that we can be able to manage or maximize the time spent together? Then the mentee must also manage the administration of the meetings. So for instance, prepare what you want to talk about ahead of time. If you have to report on some actions that you were supposed to do prior to the meeting, you must plan all of them so that we can utilize the time very well. Then also the mentee should work on agreed tasks. Sometimes the temptation is that, oh, I couldn't do the work, and then you are giving excuses. But if you are committed to the mentoring relationship, you must agree to work on agreed tasks within time, right? Okay. Now we have phases of the mentoring relationship. Okay. So in the mentoring relationship, remember that this is a practical endeavor. Okay, it's a practical, a theoretical thing. It is very practical. We will start it here, and you know that this is very practical. When you begin the relationship, you want to build rapport with, on both sides. You want to build rapport where maybe there will be contracting, signing of any contract, agreeing on anything, setting up and signing learning agreements. We should do that at the building rapport stage. And then we set the directions. What is the way forward? What do we want to achieve? We set it, and then we go into action. We progress with the mentoring process. Once we achieve our target and we want to wind up, we do that, and then we move on, right? We will look at some practical, how we do it practically very soon. Now, what issues might you discuss in mentoring? What are some of the issues you think in the mentoring process we can go there and discuss safely? Anyone to start with for us? What issues do you think we can discuss safely in the mentoring process? Who is starting for Blessing? Today I've not heard your voice. Blessing, are you with me? Hannah,
Hi, can you
do you
hear
have
me?
anything for us? Yeah, Blessing.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. Um, for me, there are issues, yes, that I may look into the mentoring process, especially issues of communication
Okay.
with the mentor.
Okay.
Probably I said that there has to be an honest relationship between the two. Probably I should be able to know what my mentor likes or don't like. Because probably how I can communicate to my mentor may not be the way he or she wants to be communicated. Probably I should say my mentor prefers to be communicated through emails,
Okay.
doesn't want a WhatsApp communication. So, my mentor should be able to communicate the do's and the don'ts. As well, probably I should be comfortable as well as a mentee to properly communicate to the mentor, probably my challenges that I am going through, because this will give a good uh, platform
Okay.
on how best the mentor would assist the mentee if the mentor knows what challenges the mentee is encountering. So probably I would start by saying that. Thank you, Doc.
Great. So you are looking at the expectations of the mentor. You are looking at maybe discussing challenges, right? And you want to do this in an honest relationship. Okay,
Yes.
good.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. What other issues can we go into the mentorship process talking about or discussing? Assuming you are a mentor, what would you expect to discuss with your mentee? You are a mentee. What would you expect to discuss with your mentor in your meetings? Who is coming? Anything in the chat
Maybe
room for me?
our
Yes, Theodore. Thank you.
may-
Please go ahead.
maybe our like long-term, short-term goals and like career path as well. And then maybe some of the barriers you're also facing in achieving those things. So the challenges that might come up.
Okay. So you are looking at the goals and challenges, right? Discussing the goals and then the challenges. So discussing your short-term, long-term goals with them, and then probably the challenges that they have faced. Thank you. What else? Today we started well, so I'm counting on that that same vigor. I'm counting on the vigor we started with.
Hi, Doc.
Don't be
I
tired.
also
Please go ahead. Who is
Angela
talking
here.
now? Angela, good.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So yes, I wanted to add that within the mentorship or the relationship, I think some of the things that will be discussed are also issues of maybe stress management, if the mentee is stressed out with the work or trying to balance, like in this case, family, work, and the PhD work itself. So I think the mentor and the mentee will also be able to, especially the mentor, will be able to provide the emotional support to the mentee, and also talk through the research work, as well as issues of collaboration and networking. I think the mentor would be able to guide the mentee in that regard.
Thank you so much. So we've added that we could talk about work-life balance, and she specifically talked about stress management. We could talk about the research work itself or the project itself. We could talk about collaboration and collaboration and networking. I didn't write it well, collaboration and networking. Thank you so much. Let me see. So these are some of the common themes that we can talk about or that arise in the mentoring process. So if you look at the people, sometimes you want to talk about dealing with a difficult boss or supervisor, right? So these sometimes come up. Somebody could go to the mentor and discuss, well, my supervisor is, I have a challenge with my supervisor, how do I navigate that? Or I'm dealing with a very difficult boss, how do I navigate that? And then you talk about that. It could also be dealing with demanding and difficult colleagues, patients, or collaborators. That may also be a theme that may arise in the mentoring process. And then whilst getting on, building networks, like I think Angela mentioned, building networks, collaboration, that could also come up. And then how to advance within your field. She mentioned about the research work itself. So here again, we have academia or even practice, how you could navigate through them. These are very important for us. And then balance and health, we have work-life balance. I think it came up, work-life balance in the form of stress management, right? And then managing family and home commitments. This also came up in our discussion, and dealing with stress and burnout. This also came out in our discussion. So these are common themes, okay? But let's be very frank with ourselves. As much as these come up, you realize that the answers that are given to some of these questions are tailor-made, okay? In that, if I come up to my mentor, let's assume that Adioye is my mentor. I go to Adioye, I tell Adioye, I am having difficulty managing my family and home commitments. The guidance or the answers or options she may give me may not be the same as what she may give Olive, because our situations may be different. Okay, so as much as these may yield different results or different answers, they are very legitimate discussions to have, because we all differ, but these are legitimate. So the fact that maybe I don't have issues with work-life balance doesn't mean that if another person is raising issues of work-life balance, we should trivialize it. They are all legitimate, depending on who is experiencing what. So as a mentor, you must be very careful about not to trivialize anybody's experience. If you're a mentee also, don't feel intimidated that, well, nobody is talking about work-life balance. Why would I be the only one to talk about it? That is your experience. If you want to talk about it, please go ahead and talk about it, because that is legitimate as far as you are concerned, right? Good. Another important thing here, we are looking at the growth model. The growth model. This is a structure for purposefully processing the thinking towards action and moving forward. Okay, this model was developed by John Whitmore. We will send you the materials, detailed materials when we are done. So this growth model, it's an acronym, as you have seen. We have the goal, we have the reality, options, and way forward. Okay, so I will take you through them one after the other. Let me relocate this. Disturbing us. Okay. So at the goal level, you could find out what you want to achieve. Okay. Whilst you are coming up with your goals, you want to look at what you need to achieve. Okay. What do you want? How will you know when you get it? Okay. So here you can agree on discussion topics. Okay. What do you want to achieve? Maybe I want to achieve ABC. Agree on a discussion topic. And you could also agree on session objectives that we are going to meet once in a month. Each month we have an objective that we are going to discuss. And like I think one of you mentioned, we set our goals. We could set our long-term aims if appropriate, and then gradually break them down into our short-term goals. Then we come to the reality. Here, you want to find out what is happening at any particular point in time. So what is happening now with my fellowship? What seems to be getting in my way? What actions have I taken so far regarding these problems or these challenges? Okay, so here too, you could do a self-assessment of what is happening. You could look at specific feedback. You and your mentor look at specific feedback from your mentor. Here, you don't have to assume anything. Okay, so avoid assumptions here. Face realities. What is the reality here? Don't say that I feel that maybe time management is the problem. If time management is the problem, say that time management is the problem. Don't say that, oh, I feel that I assume. No, let's face the realities, okay? And then you could also look at the most relevant thing to do here. Then whilst you look at options with your mentor, you could ask, what could you do to overcome the barriers? Okay, so you identify some of the things you could look at the barriers. What else could you do? If you had more resources, what would you do? Would you like another suggestion? Okay, so please pay attention to these questions. In our role play, I'll project this. You could look at these and then use them as a guide to your role play. Okay, so if you need to write some of them down, please do, so that you could ask if you are a mentor, you could ask your mentee, or if you are a mentee, you are ready to ask questions about that. So here too, the options, you want to cover full range of options. Look at every possible option. It is when you have looked at every possible option that you may have the luxury of choosing the best out of all the options that you have. As a mentor, you want to maybe invite suggestions from your mentee. You are not thinking for the mentee. You are giving the mentee the opportunity to explore in their mind and to find out some of the possible suggestions that they can also offer. If you are a mentor and you want to offer suggestions, you must do that carefully, okay? And then the mentor guides the mentee to make their own choices, right? And then the way forward. what will you do regarding the options that you have chosen? What first steps will you take after the meeting? Okay, maybe after this meeting or after a session with your mentor. Okay, what support will you need from whom? Looking at the options you have chosen, right? And then how committed are you to this action plan? Okay, so here you need to commit to your action plan as a mentee. You need to commit. And whilst you have your action plan, you must identify possible obstacles and possible steps to take to be able to resolve those obstacles, overcome those obstacles. And then look at specific steps that you would take with timing. Okay, set timelines with whatever you want to do, and then agree on the support you need to do that. Right. I will reproject this for your role play. Okay, so I'll come back to this so that you can use this for your role play. So we are preparing for our role play. Lydia will help us in this exercise. She will pair us in breakout sessions, and then we will do a role play. So the role play is on the experience of a mentoring conversation. Okay, so one of you will first act as a mentor. Please keep your time. One of you will act as a mentor for, let me see, for 10 minutes because of our time, so we can have ample time to discuss. One of you will act as a mentor for 10 minutes, while the other act as a mentee for that 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, we switch roles, okay, where one would, the one who acted as the mentee becomes the mentor and vice versa, right? We are going to use this, okay? I want us to, don't rush through it. We want to have an experience of the mentorship conversation. Okay, so if you can do in depth, only the goals in depth, it is appreciated. If because of the nature of your situation, you can go through all the 4, that is fine. But we want an in-depth conversation. We want you to experience that conversation between a mentor and a mentee whilst we go through the session. So when we come back, we are going to share our experiences. So please, if you come back, note that I can mention your name to share with us. Okay, so please, Lydia, kindly enable our breakout sessions, take over for the breakout session, and then we will come back.
Sorry, Joanne.
Okay.
So I group them randomly, right?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes, please.
So there are 8 groups of 4.
Okay,
2.
so we have 4 breakout sessions. Michael, do you have anything to say before we go on?
Thank you so much, Joanna. I think
Yes.
you've managed to bring the message home in terms of mentoring. And indeed, mentoring is important in terms of our PhD work, but also our career growth. And at each and every moment, we meet different kinds of or different types of mentors. And it's up to us as mentees to take up what the mentors have or are helping us on. And for sure, in terms of the PhD work, it helps because there are a lot of areas which I think we need mentors in our lives. As you've rightly indicated, the main area in PhD work which requires a mentor is probably the work-life balance. at this current point in time, whereby some of us are probably working and at the same time we're doing the PhD. And this is where a mentor comes handy, because there are areas which you might get support from a mentor who can take you through in those areas of work-life balance. And it can definitely help you as an individual to manage your PhD work at the same time, your office work, but also probably your family life. So it's very important to make sure that you have a mentor, because as Joanna, you've said, it's like a sounding board whereby you bring your issues and this mentor will be able to give you feedback on what probably you're bringing in as a mentee. So whether it will be a formal mentor or a peer mentor, make sure that that opportunity isn't missed as a PhD fellow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you so much. So the time is 2:18. Let's say we have 20 minutes. So we use 2 minutes to organize ourselves, and then we use the rest of the time. So we'll report back at 2:40. So from 2:20 to 2:40, we should have the experience, and then we come back to share the experiences. So as you can see on the screen, Lydia has given us the breakout sessions. Kindly join. Yeah. Liban, you haven't joined your group. Okay.
Where am I supposed to be?
Who?
I'm supposed to be in room 2, but I got directed to room 1.
Please, who is this? I'm not seeing the name.
Blessings.
Yes, you can go to group
Blessing.
one. I had grouped you with Joanna. I'd forgotten she's the facilitator. My apologies.
The blessing should go with Adioye. It's only Adioye who is there in room 1.
No, Adeo is with Angela in room 1.
Oh, okay.
So I moved Angela to room 3. Liban did not join any room.
So, Blessing, go to room 1, please. And join Adioye. Thank you.
Send me the pop-up again.
It's not
Lydia,
allowing
please
me
send him the pop-up.
to
Yeah.
resend. It's not allowing me to resend. Can you use the previous one that I sent you?
Oh, this thing is not there.
Should I go to room 5? Because there's a pop-up for room 5.
Yes, I created another one, so you can go to room 5.
Oh, thank you.
Then it means we must elect Adioye to go to. Okay, Adioye has joined room 5. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Lydia. Lydia, I presume we are.
The time is up.
Let me see. Yes, please.
So if I close all rooms here, they will come back here, right?
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay, we are all welcome back. I presume we had a wonderful conversation. Okay. So let's go and reflect. What was the mentoring conversation like? So I have Angela and Olive, Theo and Titi, Adioye. Listen, kindly share your experiences. What was the mentoring conversation like? I would appreciate if we can get experiences from the mentor and then the mentee role play. Who is starting for us?
Yeah, let me start.
Great.
Of course, we will just only report one way because we had not much time. So my mentor Adoe was able to encourage on what to encourage me as a mentor on what I would like to do, trying to give positive remarks, and as well as my mentor was able to inquire more what do I want to do, so that she'd be able to evaluate if it is achievable or not. So yeah, that is what I have learned from my mentor.
Great. Thank you very much. So how do you feel? Do you feel that you had, even though it's a short period, but do you feel some of your challenges, you were able to navigate through some of your challenges with your mentor?
Yes, my mentor really asked to say what challenges do I have, and probably what strategies I have put in place to navigate them. And my mentor also had to say, you could even try this, like challenging me to say probably if I can try something as well, probably as well asking me what else apart from the strategies that I have put in place. And even my mentor was willing to know how effective the strategies have been. So that is one of the aspects that my mentor wanted to know if the strategies are effective or if they are not effective. So I think if I was honest enough to my mentor to say these strategies are not working, probably we could have discussed something else. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so are you saying you were not open?
No, I was open.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I think the last bit got me quite confused. Adioye, as a mentor, your mentee has spoken. What was the experience like for you?
For me, it was very interesting learning from him. I mean, he was the one, he was sharing his experiences, talking about his challenges. I'm also a PhD student, so it was similar. It was interesting learning the strategies that he had been using, the barriers to overcoming them, and how he intends to overcome those barriers. So for me, being a PhD student like him was encouraging, knowing that, okay, we have similar troubles and that we could use these strategies to overcome them. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So as a mentor, you have learned from your mentee, as we established earlier on. We said that it's a two-way learning experience, and I'm glad that at least you've had that experience. Thank you very much, Adioye and Blessings. Theo and Titi, do you have anything for us? Theo and Titi, do you have anything for us? Or if they are not
Yeah, I
ready,
think
Angela, okay, yeah. Please go
it
ahead.
was a really helpful conversation. I think it was also just very encouraging to learn from one another and share with one another. And I think because we like what the previous pair was saying is that we have similar experiences. So it's like you can kind of relate to each other, and it's easier to be kind of transparent because it's like there's this sense of like equity, and this person already knows what I'm going through as well. And I think also from maybe like a mentor perspective, sometimes like I was like, what can I share? There's nothing I can say that's going to be helpful. But then we all have some kind of experience that you can share that would be helpful for the other person. So I appreciated that. And it was Theo.
Yes, you.
Titi, maybe
Okay,
you
then
have something.
Titi, I'll wait to hear from him.
I was listening to was quite active. I learned a lot from your mentor. Empathetic, and she had goals, and one of the increased network, and you managed to some of the links as resources we can get with other people. So
Thank you very much. Angela and Olive.
I'm not sure if you managed to. I'm having network problems this side.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I'm not sure where you was put it out.
Okay, so you were mentioning the networks that she directed you to, yes.
Yes, and I'm know that this will be very helpful to me to broaden my my network. And also, she shared some of the strategies that she used to overcome some of the barriers that she was having. And I'm facing the same barriers, and I'll try and employ those strategies to help me. Yeah, productive for me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Angela and Olive.
I'll go first. And this is Olive, by the way. So for me, I think I learned more about the process other than the actual content that we had been given. So to begin with, my conversation with my mentor, you know, she had said something that really made her relate to her on a level, and she said that, you know, I'm not really sure if what we're doing is the right thing, and it kind of opened up something that made me to kind of look to her as someone who I can open up to. So it kind of made the conversation flow a little bit easier. But what I had noticed was that I think my mentor, the approach that she had taken was one that, you know, whereby you actually collect information first. So you try to get as much background information before you then start to kind of give in the advice. So because we had limited time, she was into detail to how I can be able to address, you know, the different challenges that I had highlighted, or some of the recommendations that she would have based on what I had currently been doing already. So one key lesson that I took from there was that time is really a crucial factor when it comes to a mentoring process. You have to be able to commit enough time so that you're able to get the enough information and also input in a manner that is impactful to your mentee, if you're the mentor, that is. And then the other thing that I had also picked out was in terms of, you know, how we were somehow caught by surprise. So the prepared for the mentoring session kind of made things a bit more difficult to navigate. So you had to think about, you know, okay, so what's the problem really? You know, what's the reality? So I think one key lesson that I also picked out from that was you really need to prepare. Make sure that you know what, as a mentee, you know what areas you really want assistance from your mentor. And as a mentor also, if you're able to know beforehand, you know, why your mentee is calling on your you know, your audience, to also prepare in advance so that you can be able to assist. I think those are the few things that I could highlight, and maybe Angela will come in with more insight.
Great. These are very, very important observations. You need to prepare before you meet your mentor all the time. We mentioned this earlier on. And then time is of essence. That's why we keep mentioning that whenever you are going into a session, prepare so that the time can be maximized. Right. So thank you very much for sharing. Yes, I'll finally hear from Angela, and then we will kind of wrap up.
Okay, so as Oliver's put it, so me as a mentor, in the first place, I wanted to understand what is it that my mentor wants, like what are their goals, what is her, some of the things that she would want to do for her to achieve her dreams or her goal. So she was able to narrate the goal as well as some of the barriers and challenges. But like she's put it, I as a mentor, I didn't have enough time to help her with the issues in terms of how she can manage the barriers, as well as how she can make sure that she's able to achieve her goals. So it's still the same issue of preparing for the mentorship session, as well as keeping time, because we really didn't finish our conversation because we ran out of time. So those are some of the key things that I learned from our conversation.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing, all of you. In fact, I don't know Lydia's plan, whether right away we will share their original mentors to them. But I feel that because we are calling for time and not having enough time for our conversation, we could still keep the network running. I don't know, maybe Lydia, you connect them to continue the conversation from here. But like I've mentioned previously, Amari will offer you that mentorship experience as well. Okay, so maybe you start with as mentees, and then later on you become mentors. So like we have mentioned, you need an open mind. Just have an open mind. We don't have all the answers. The mentor doesn't have all the answers. The mentee doesn't have all the answers, but we collaborate to look at the options and choose the best one that would help in any situation. Now, I'll quickly give, I think we started a bit late, so I'm a little behind time. Bear with me. We'll give some top tips to mentors, and then we'll continue. And I will try to round up, and then we will go. So these are top tips for mentors, right? As a mentor, you don't try to fix everything, okay? Because you can't solve all the problems. So relax a little in the relationship, and do what you are able to do. If you have to refer to another person, or you have to, like Michael mentioned, and we mentioned it previously, that we need mentors sometimes for specific areas. Okay, so if a particular mentor is not able to fix a particular issue, you probably are looking for another one who is also well-versed in that area, right? And then let the mentee do most of the work. Like we've mentioned, you are training the mentee to take charge. So let the mentee do most of the work that is to be done. Then bear in mind that it is not about you, okay? It is not about you. So you give up your agenda and then allow the mentor's issue to reign. It's about your mentor, it's not about you. So hold your agenda and of the mentee. And also you need to focus on the issues that come up, not on the individual. You are focusing on the issues that you are raising and trying to solve. Then you also don't have to rush through things. Develop a present mind and have a peaceful experience with your mentee. Now, to the mentee, remember that the mentorship process is about your developmental opportunity. Okay, so you have been given an opportunity to develop, to develop in your area or grow in your learning experience. And so please take advantage of it and take charge of the task that have to be done. Then get the most you can from each session. So we will give you the handout on using SMART goals, okay, to get the best out of every session. Then do the work, act on your task between sessions. If you are supposed to do something, please do it before you come in. And then reflect on your learning or raise your awareness. Notice how you do things, okay, and realize that the mentoring is a long-term process. So the relationship develop over time. Pace yourself and recognize that change takes time. Okay, give yourself a lot of time. Now there's an important area we need to talk about. Ideally, mentoring would be done face-to-face as it offers the best quality interaction. But you know that sometimes logistically it becomes impossible, especially for Amari fellow. We are located. If you need to do mentoring, we fall on distance mentoring. This can be done using video or telephone. I usually want if you still want to keep the face-to-face, video sometimes helps us to mimic the face-to-face interactions that we have. Look at convenience. Okay, look at the convenience of each other when you are doing a distance mentoring. Look at the convenience of each other and make the experience a rich experience for each one of you. And don't say that because it's a distance mentoring, you are not going to attach the importance you would to a face-to-face one. If you would have to avoid distractions, please do that. For instance, if you are sitting face-to-face with your mentor, you are not going to do other things aside. So when there is a session, treat as though it is a face-to-face session. Give full attention to the process and avoid or reduce distractions. Now, in mentoring, we need to begin with learning agreements that will be useful for setting out. So we could look at logistics of contacts. Okay, so what logistics must be in place for us to be able to have meaningful sessions? What are some of the responsibilities that each one of us should have? Right from the onset, we should be able to spell out these things. Spell out confidentiality, when confidentiality can be breached, and then also set boundaries for each other. And then also talk about what actions we can take in the case of any problems. So these are further readings. We will send you some materials to be able to go through the session by yourself. So if you want to read more, you do that. So the take-home message, we have said a lot, but I want you to know that mentoring is a developmental relationship that differs from supervision, coaching, therapy, or patronage or sponsorship. Then mentoring is not about the mentor fixing things, but about helping or guiding the mentee to find solutions or make choices, right? Then mentoring has been found to have a range of career benefits for both mentors and mentees. So however you see it, there are benefits attached. Then mentoring involves active listening in conversations around career developmental challenges. And then it can usefully follow the GROW model to help structure sessions. So this is our take home. If there are any questions, we can have them. If you have anything to share, we can share, and then we say bye-bye to each other. We are a little behind time, sorry. 5 minutes behind time now. Sorry about that. Michael, you have last words. Kindly. Is Michael still on or he's dropped? I guess. Okay, Michael is on. Michael.
Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay, can you repeat what you said? So I couldn't get it proper.
Okay, so we have rounded up, and I'm wondering whether you have some last words for our participants. It's been a great experience with them. I don't know whether you have any last words for them.
Not much. I think I'll just say that let them take these ACES course seriously and make sure that they put them into practice. We've gone through the same and we've managed to 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 progress, but also to complete the PhD work because of the ACES support. So I guess my colleagues there, they will also do the same to make sure that they are able to complete their PhD work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the whole idea is practice. So for all the 3 modules that we've done, practice, that's what Michael is emphasizing. So please, let's take this serious. And then the materials that follow up, you can read more on yourself by yourself. Thank you so much. Lydia, over to you.
Thank you, Joanna. So these new cohorts of PhD fellows will be paired with our Amari 1 alumni as their mentors. So the processes will be ongoing in the coming months. I think that's all from me. Thank you, Joanna.
Okay, so thank you so much for your cooperation. I believe that we will meet again very soon in Harare, all of us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.